We'll call the Pownal Select Board meeting to order on January 15th at 7 p.m. For the agenda approval, minutes, warrants, mail. Under old business, we have a TAM proposal for the transfer station. Under new business, we're going to review the applicants for the transfer station. And then we're going to move into the transfer station budget work session. I'd like to add to the old business legal, which we can do at the end before we go into work session. Well, we can go into it and go into work session after. Legal / personnel, I guess is the best way to say it. Okay. Anything else to be added, guys? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes of last week.
One move. Second it.
Any discussion of minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Warrants. Sorry, guys. Payroll ending 1/16/15 in the amount of $5,698.31. Invoices for accounts payable ending $26,619.07, ending 1/16. The large ones in here is diesel fuel and a couple of large salt deliveries. Much pleasure.
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any of them? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mail. Okay, we'll come back to that one. We have a flyer from the publication for the Pownal Historic Society celebrating the 20th anniversary. That's in here. And we have a local government day brochure that's in here. Local government day this year is on Wednesday, the February 18th in Montpelier. And see if they have it. They're going to talk about education property tax reform, state and federal transportation funding. Then you go to the Capitol and you can lunch and also talk to people there. I'm planning to attend this. If anyone else is, please let me know. And Linda can get us booked in.
Yeah, I wrote you down.
You take a little ride up, as long as it's not blizzard conditions. Vermont leads the Cities and Town newsletter. And then we have the Energy Regulation Commission to do with the dam. This is to do with the dam itself, from what I've been told. And basically what they're looking for is to have us sign off on it. What's your pleasure, guys?
I move that we sign on it. Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll leave the dates for you, Linda, so you can put them in. Oops, there was one I put aside, didn't I?
Yep.
Hold on there. Okay. We have a agreement to perform consulting services to the town of Pownal. This is from Amy Moore, who was in here and talked to us about the webpage. And, or putting up the town website, I should say. And basically, she's listed that in her items here. And has listed the price, which what she had quoted before, which was $750 to initially site design and content population. Then on an hourly basis, as needed, it's $29 an hour. In this, she states that she'll put up these sites, and then on top of that, she'll work with our people to teach them how to put the data in and keep it up. I had some questions that weren't addressed in it, but I'm sure she could answer, and then we can make a motion to if you wish to have me sign that, if we get yes answers to the questions I'm concerned with, which is basically that the registration of the domain name in the town is in the town's ownership. That if there are any logons, accounts for doing the various things in towns, we should have a list of all the logons and the passwords, just so we know. And the contents of the sites approved by us as it progresses, which is part of our contract anyways. So if you agree with that, she says yes to all those things, all
Okay, I move to sign it.
with those, that stipulation, right?
Second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Could you contact Amy and ask her those questions, and if it's a yes, which I think it will be, just leave it in my box and I'll sign it? Thank you. Okay, that took care of meal. Under old business, Tam. Come on up. We've, well, I guess the question is, we're gonna talk about, contracts here. Do you wanna talk about contract issues, or do you wanna talk about this a little bit? And then if we get into the meat of actually trying to work out a contract, going executive, or do you wanna do it right out here? I just wanna give you guys that opportunity because you have the right to do that in executive session if you wish. If you don't, that's fine too. Not hearing anything. I had several questions I asked. I sent off to you, and I don't know what I just did with those questions. But, here I am. And the questions I had based on the information that was in the contracts, if you have them, you could,
Yeah, I can buzz down through them.
and answer each one if you would.
Sure. Yep. Questions: hazardous waste days. I guess you just said hazardous waste days. So my response to how we would handle hazardous waste
Yeah.
days, I can't do that. That's one of the things I cannot handle for you.
Okay.
So what I had said was town would need to continue to schedule and pay for their hazardous waste days. We are not able to conduct these services for the town with our current permits and don't want to be involved with the setting up due to liability. So that's the same thing we do in Shaftesbury. They still handle their hazardous waste. It's one of the few things that they still do.
But it's done at their site.
It is.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that question with the hazardous waste days is whether we were gonna continue doing them like we are, but the management would be through you, or if we had to have somebody here manage it.
Yeah, I think that if you continue to do it with Shaftesbury, it would just, and Shaftesbury hosts it, it's just the administration of the payment and stuff. And the
Yeah, well,
report.
I think we would still be agreeable to the payment of what the cost of that is. The question I have is us having someone keeping track of the fact to make sure we meet the state standards of holding 2 a year.
Mhm.
That's the management part I'm looking at, that say, hey, you've got to do this, here's what's got to happen. I've talked to Shaftesbury, you now have to do whatever.
One thing that's going to happen is all that's changing. I was just at a BCRC meeting on Tuesday night. You had a representative there from Pownal.
Yep.
Sandy, I believe.
Megan,
Okay. Sandy was Searsburg. Sorry. And they were explaining that it's going to go to, eventually it's going to go from 2 hazardous waste days to 4 hazardous waste days to, the state would like to see a permanent spot in Bennington County to bring stuff. So that is one that could drastically change. I would have no problem keeping the town abreast of new changes as Act 148 comes into play. And I think that we could really do that well. I've been sitting on the infrastructure committee in Montpelier, trying to figure out how they're going to fix this problem that they've kind of created. So I'm very well versed in what's happening and when it's happening. But that the hazardous part of it, because it's going to double, and then it's going to wind up being that you pay more to BCRC, and they're going to administer a contract to somebody to run this thing full time. TIM is not that company. We just don't do anything with hazardous waste.
which I the handling of that. That's why they have Clean Harbors come in, everybody does.
Right.
Somebody else comes and takes it away and manages that. But from what I just heard, it sounds like you would keep us informed of the changes that would occur
Absolutely.
and tell us the things we have to do.
Yes. And I think that just good business and the best way to, if this goes forward, is I would come in twice a year and just kind of say, hey, this is what's going on at the transfer station. These are the new rules that are coming. This is something that, obviously we're going to take care of over here. Here's a new hazardous waste regulation. You guys should budget for this. Certainly would want to be involved every fall for budget time.
Okay.
And as these things pop up, unfortunately, we just have to kind of deal with them. But yeah, I just can't get involved in the booking because there's going to be some. If I manage something, I don't want to manage it unless I feel 100% confident in what I'm doing. And even the setting up of the hazardous waste, if I'm there and I set up the company and they're not following a rule, the presumption is that I should know what I'm doing. Solid waste we do, hazardous waste we don't, and that's why I don't even want to be involved in getting the contractors on site. You as a town are not expected to know. That's why you sub out that I'm too close, I guess is what I'm saying. It could easily be construed that I should know better, that they didn't set up this tarp in that way, and I just don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I think that's
I understand that.
that's a reasonable answer. The board okay with that, for the hazardous waste?
I'm going to make you happier going forward. That was the hardest one.
Okay.
I think I'm done saying no, so that's good. Used oil storage and disposal. TAM will handle the used oil storage and disposal, as well as bear any cost for it. The assumption is that you have a usable tank that we would continue to use. So that's basically, I'm sure you have something set up. We would continue to have use of that. We don't have to buy a new tank, but we would take care of
Yeah, it needs to
any
be leveled
disposal.
up, I think is what it needs. It needs to be
Yeah.
leveled up. So.
Green Up Day. Currently, the town lets volunteers, folks pick up along road and drop off for a fee. TIM would support this program as well. Specifically, TIM will not charge for Green Up Day trash collected in the green bags. So that would be a donation, if you will. We're not going to provide the volunteers or organize, but we will allow them to take it in as the town did in the past.
Yeah, the town basically has somebody here that lets people come and pick up green bags, and
Mm-hmm.
we leave them along the road sometimes, and people bring them out and otherwise. So we just want to make sure how it was going
Sure.
to handle. Okay.
And if you have a central point that they all kind of congregate and then go, for example, we donate the town in Shaftesbury some roll-off containers where they actually set up like the tables and they usually do some ice cream or something. We're happy to do that as well. Just
So that people wouldn't have to go. We could do one in
Right.
the lower part of town, and okay, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's good.
town permits and fee changes will or will not take place. If yes, when and why, so the board knows how to answer this question. TAM has based its proposal on both current cost and current revenue provided by Linda. Therefore, we do not need to change prices, but do need to confirm the revenue expenses in the first year. That's why I put in my proposal. We'd like to sit down next year and go over things. So,
So it'd be a 1-year contract.
yeah, it's really just a 1-year review.
Okay.
My assumption is that the revenues are what they were stated, and my assumption is that they're going to continue to be what they are.
Yeah.
If there's a drastic swing in that, then because we're now accounting for it all, we just want a chance to sit down next year before budget time and say, hey guys, this is what we found. Here's our books on this job. Revenue was drastically understated. Expenses were the same. So
Okay.
we just want to open it up again.
Okay, my understanding it's a 5-year contract, and what you're, because I said 1 year here a minute ago, 5-year contract with a 1-year review. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, and after that year, once we get our feet wet, once we understand the coming and going of the money, and that's kind of the biggest thing, is we need to make sure that revenue is what is expected, because the cost to run this is not the cost that I quoted you as the management fee. Obviously, it's a lot more, but I deducted what you guys have received in revenue in the past and assumed that would continue.
Okay.
So it's a tough first year. It's kind of that,
Yeah.
we're all kind of walking that line and saying, okay, how does this work? But again, to answer your question directly, no, there's not expected to be any increase in the per bag. Linda was nice enough to fax me over the rates today so I could look at them. I feel as though they're in line with what's the other towns are charging. So I don't see any need to adjust them. Composting on site. Will TAM allow residents, TAM will allow residents to bring food waste to the transfer station, and we will bring the material to our composting facility in Bennington. We hope to make this service free, but may need to charge a small charge to the residents. No composting will occur on site.
Okay.
So a tote system.
I just didn't know if we needed to change our contract, or meeting the state requirements if we change to composting.
You have to amend your permit to allow for the collection of food scraps. We would do that. And then we would take them and we would pick them up just like we do the restaurants, the hospital, CLR, Vets Home, everybody that we pick up now. They'd be on a route and they would go to Bennington for composting. And I want to get creative with that. I'd love to do like a small, like a composter card or something where you buy as part of your sticker. You know, if it's $25 for the sticker, say, hey, for $35, you guys can compost too. You have that, you know, little add-on. Something small, but it does cost money because it's a truck that comes around weekly. Right now, you know, there's a big economy of scale of filling up a 30-yard roll-off and then taking that away. When you got to show up for 3 or 4 totes, it is more expensive. That's why we have to do something. But I want to make it very reasonable to promote folks doing that. And that's going to be part of the law that you have to provide that going forward. Filing of state compliance paperwork. If you read it correctly, we would take care of all this. And yes, that's true. TIM will take care of all renewals of certifications as well as the retract quarterly reports. The only exception is hazmat days. And also the other thing is your SWIP compliance.
Okay.
Your SWIP compliance is going to be administered by BCRC. It always has been, but now there's going to be a new alliance. It's going to be like the Bennington County Alliance. And so that is another one of these new mandates that is a huge question mark. That's what I was at on Tuesday night, as well as all the other towns folks. And so that will still need to be, you're going to have a representative from your town on that board. And that would not be me. That would be, it really would become a conflict of interest, I think.
Yeah. At the moment, we have somebody that's there, right, Megan?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yep. So Megan would stick with that.
Yeah.
Presumably,
She just joined us to start doing that type of service, but yeah, I
great.
get the feeling that she's
Yeah,
into it, so.
I think it's going to be an interesting board. But I guess what I'm getting at with this is that will still remain your responsibility to attend those meetings and also any costs that come out of that, because there are no costs. I don't know what they are. I can't put that into my bid because it's a big unknown.
Okay.
But that's about it. Oh no, electricity. We would pay for the electricity associated with the buildings at the transfer facility. I don't know. I don't think that would be in any way connected to your garage down there.
No,
it's-
that's a separate thing.
Perfect.
All
So
separate, yeah.
that account, we would switch it right over to us and we would pay it.
Okay.
I have a question.
2 other things,
Sure.
electronic waste and free dump day with the other 2.
Right. Electronic waste. I know I answered that. Why did I?
Yeah, you
Did I
jumped
skip
over
over
it.
that?
Yes.
Oh, I did. Okay. TIM will maintain or become part of the state e-cycle program. I don't know if you guys already are in the e-cycles.
I don't know the answer to that.
So either you are. Perfect. So we would just maintain that, which would allow residents to get rid of covered items from covered entities for free. So the state says that there's certain items that you can get rid of for free, monitors and computer stuff. There are some things that you still need to pay for, but that's the same as the system that you guys are doing now. And then you have to, the covered entity means that you're not a business of over, I think, 7. I can get clarification on that.
Okay.
But schools and nonprofits can bring their stuff for free. So we would maintain that same
Good.
service. And free dump day. I'm glad that you asked this before Tuesday. The state was at that meeting, and because one of the big things with Act 148 is unit-based pricing. They don't want things to be free anymore. They really want it to be you pay for what you generate. So it was a great question that I got to ask the state point blank. I said, hey, we got a town of Pownal. They've got a free dump day. I said, but you have to buy a sticker to be partaking in the free dump day. So what is your thought? And from Mia at the state, she said because they bought the sticker, because it's like a 1 day thing, we will allow that to happen. So I will allow it to happen. Again, that's part of this tightrope that we walk for the first year.
Yep.
The assumption is that the revenue is the same as what it is, and the expense is going to be close to what it is. And so that free dump day was always paid for by the town. So I would continue that. And the state will be fine for that. That will not affect unit-based pricing.
Glad to hear the state's.
And I've got this on camera, and I'm documenting the person that said it. So if we ever go back and have it.
Okay, good, good. Okay, well, that was my list of questions.
I had one question, brush dump. You're gonna continue.
We will maintain the brush dump, yes. I don't believe that we're going to be burning anymore. I expect that that'll probably be chipped. Burning is coming to an end. Just the way it's going.
Anything else?
That's it. No, I'm good.
Sorry, I hogged all the mic here tonight for that. You got anything, Ronnie?
Almost, yeah.
Okay. In reviewing the contract, I noticed you talked about the total expense potential saved from the budget lines, which is there, and then the price that you are talking about is an annual fee.
Correct.
When I looked at this, of course, the first thing I did was what you did. I took the revenue side away from what our budget line was.
And that's the correct way to do it. I certainly want to be upfront with that because it does.
And then I looked at where you were, and I know I had it somewhere because I figured it out, but it's the one paper I probably didn't print out. Just so people know, it's not $120,000 savings because there's a wash with the club horse. It's a smaller amount than that, but it is a savings to the town by having him do the service. I just wish I had printed it out, but I didn't. But we could do the math and figure out what it is, because it's like 70 some odd thousand for the what you call it, the actual revenue. So. And when you're done, so yeah, I forget what it was. It's not a lot of money, but it is money. It's cheaper. So with that said, what else?
The only thing of significance that I want to point out is that we would adjust the hours a little bit.
Oh,
I want to
yes.
be upfront with that.
Yes.
These are mirroring more the total hours that we have in Shaftesbury. In Shaftesbury, we do Tuesday, Thursday, and we do morning on one day and afternoon on the other.
I saw that. That was your proposal in here.
Yes, what I'm kind of doing is doing the Wednesday, Friday,
Yeah, that's right.
which is great.
And
That's
then all day Saturday.
yes. Saturday's a crucial day. I don't want to mess with that at all.
Okay.
But during the week, what we want to do is we want to hit the morning folks that have to be to work by, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We want to give them that 7 o'clock hour,
Yeah, that's
and the
right.
folks that get out at
I understand it.
and that way we kind of straddle. We give both options, but I just think the full day on both days is excessive, and this was a well thought out and well fought out change in Shaftesbury many years ago, and we've had great luck with it.
It's worked there.
It has. We didn't get any complaints. I just want to be upfront with that because
So let me state the hours so people out there know what we're talking about. Wednesday, it would be 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Friday, it would be 12 noon to 4 p.m. And Saturday, it would be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Right.
So where currently we run at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those days, that would be the difference. But I do like the fact that you're doing a little early in the morning, because I think that will pick up people that are going off to work. They get options.
we actually have great luck with that 7 to 8 o'clock hour because 2 days at 8 to 4. If you got to be to work at 7 o'clock, if you work 7 to 3, you can't really do
You
it.
can't get home and get your garbage and get there. You can't leave it in your car on the hot days.
Right. So
So no, I don't know. What's the rest of the board think of the hour changes like that?
What were before? There were 3 full days.
Yeah, they were 8 to 4 in each case.
Makes sense.
I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with it. You follow? But I think it's something that do we need to know that answer tonight?
No, here's what my
That's
recommendation
my
is. Go-
question for
My
you.
recommendation is going to be that we send this contract off to our attorney. And in that process, if people out there have questions, they can send us those questions. And then when he gets through reviewing, I just want to make sure that we don't have any liability that we don't know of or think of in the process, and the attorney will tell us that. And basically, have him do a quick review. It's only 2 pages.
And it only takes a second for them to spend money.
That's right. But I'd rather spend the $300 or $400 and know that we're protected liability
I
wise.
understand that.
And then at that point, it gives these people a chance a week to
Well,
come back.
That was my point. What we were talking about right here tonight.
Yep.
It's aired.
That's why I wanted to get it on the camera.
That's
The
right.
folks,
Yep,
if there's a
that's
big
right.
problem, I want them
Exactly.
to have a chance
call
to.
it-
Now,
Call Linda or any
that's
one
right.
of
And
us.
if there's concerns out there, we need to know it promptly.
Should we tell them to call in the next 30 seconds if there's any
Well,
problem? The phone rings and we know we got a problem.
Not the call-in show.
Only if you answer.
No problem. Nelson, I'm sure, will give out his cell phone number.
Yes.
They have it. They have it already.
Okay.
So, and the contract is just a sample. If obviously we're totally open to changes if your attorney has
Well,
something else.
I guess if you wanted me to ask anything about contract, the reason I'm going to even mention the town of Shasberry, we're so close, the same. Population is
Pretty close, yeah.
Roads is the same,
Yeah.
We're spread out about the same way as Shasberry. So, how close is this contract compared to the contract that Shasberry has today? Question to you.
In what way?
Whatever. Whatever. A blank.
Yeah,
The word blanket would work.
Well, we could ask that. Hours of operation.
Hours of operation.
Same.
You said that.
Total
was
hours, yes. I believe they're the
Yeah.
exact same, just different days.
The
Okay.
difference
just
that
different days. That's fine.
they manage their staff. Here, you would be managing the staff.
It's a little bit weird in Shaftesbury. So in Shaftesbury, there's 2 people that work the transfer station. One is a TIM employee, and we
Okay.
have the same management contract with them where we are paid to take care of the recycling center and provide the truck. In that case, we do not we do not have the person that charges the money. So we don't handle the revenue side. We only handle the expense side. If it's probably the easiest
Well, that's
way
why
to
I'm
describe.
asking some of these questions. I'm
But-
trying to get
So
get the
but-
information of how others are doing. And,
Right.
that's how.
so here you would be handling the money both
It's
directions.
correct. It's in here.
I would.
And also, as far as equipment go, you would supply all equipment. We would be supplying none.
Correct.
Other than
in Shaftesbury,
dumpsters.
we supply all the equipment as well.
I guess we got some dumpsters that are still in the loop, but other
Yeah, and that's-
very little.
And those dumpsters would stay in the rotation just like they do now.
just
with us.
to let people know that what's out there.
But but you retain ownership of them. We don't get any ownership of them. So they're still yours.
So I'm trying to think of what else. So fuel, all that stuff's yours. That's the same I think you do up there by the sound. You said you had your own trucks and stuff. What could you think of that would be different other than?
Well, the biggest difference is the revenue side. So we don't, in Shaftesbury, they have a woman that charges the per bag fee, and then what we do is we submit a tonnage bill at the end of each month. And we say it's X number of dollars per ton, and so they pay us, but they've collected that revenue.
So they
Now-
paid for the staffing.
They've paid for the staffing, they've collected the money, but I've always looked
They
at it.
reconcile the differences.
Yeah, there was, and the reason we did not do that for Shaftesbury is that they were in a transition time as well, and they were going from a free landfill to a charging transfer station, and we just did not want to be the first ones that start charging people
Those
at the
people.
dump because I thought it was a political nightmare to do that.
That is your hometown.
It is. So it made more sense in my mind to say, you know something, that still requires a person. You have that person. You get all the money. We're just going to go by a weight ticket, and that's the most, quantitative way to charge. It's simple. And so, going forward, we are in discussions with the town to
Right.
actually take on more of a role like this.
Okay.
So we're headed in
And
that direction.
the only reason I went ahead and brought this up was, I have, already, because I've been kinda looking over this stuff, and that's kinda end the discussion. When I have, that opportunity, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But there has been a slight concern out there of, our, employees.
And how we handled
Okay, that has been voiced
Yeah,
to me.
well, I guess
So
the,
want you to know
well,
that.
I think the question there is how would our employees be handled? If we're no longer using them, at that point, are you looking to hire people, or do you have people already?
No, there's no absolutes in business.
Yeah.
I will say the same thing that we said, about 8 or 9 years ago when we did Shaftesbury. Everyone, we are most interested in maintaining a consistency at the transfer station. So, will there be some staffing changes, certainly due to hours and stuff? Yeah, there will be. Are we excited to sit down with the folks that are there before we go to anybody else? Absolutely. They know the job, they know the people. We would want them. And in Shaftesbury's case, we did hire the full-time guy, and he worked for me till he retired. He worked like 6 years for me.
Okay.
We were happy to have him and wish he'd come back. So,
Yeah.
and
I
actually,
understand.
the other guy that used to work there, he didn't leave until sadly he passed away.
Okay. Well,
And he was a town employee, so we actually took 2 people on. So, and in that case, 1 person didn't come. So, the answer is yes. We would certainly want to sit down with the folks
Okay.
that are up there. But there could be
what
some.
you're saying is you are not saying that you have your own staff
I'm not saying that.
Okay,
we don't have somebody that's sitting there waiting.
waiting for the job.
Right.
There you go.
Yep.
That's what I
We're
was looking
perpetually understaffed. We hired 4 this month, and I still think we're understaffed. So no, if we got a trained person that's on site that
for. Okay. Very
fills
good.
that need, then yes.
Very good.
Yep.
That's very good. Good question, Henry.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anything else? Other questions to do with that? Okay. Then I guess I'd take a motion to send this off to our attorneys and ask Pam to come
Attorney.
back. Attorney.
We only want one.
Did I say attorneys?
Get the team on it.
Too used to
Legal
it.
team.
I'm too used
Could
to
we
all that.
utilize the attorney service through the league?
Yes. Let's do
Try
that.
that.
Yeah.
Let's try
Try
that.
that.
I like that.
Good
Thanks
thinking.
again. Good thinking.
Good.
Could we have our league review this? Call them and ask if they're used to reviewing contracts for the town, and then we can fax it up and have them send us back.
Good.
Which
I think
is
it's a
good
great
in a way
idea 'cause-
because there's probably other towns that
Yes.
they're handling.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Super. Super good idea. Keep forgetting we have.
And
to
again,
utilize
we're
it.
gonna allow some time for some public comment.
Yeah, I would say not, that we won't, we'll
Well, I'm sure
basically
we will have that.
table it until next week, until we get back the legal opinions and so
Okay.
forth. Ask them to come back and then review it. Because of budget seasons, I want us to try and fast
Well-
track this a little bit
Right.
so we can do our budget
Right.
in the right way.
Okay.
I think that, and we may have to say that for 2 weeks instead of the 1 week, because we might not have an answer back. Sure.
Yep.
And there might be some back and forth.
That's right.
If the attorney
Right.
has some questions, by all
Right.
means, have them call me and
Okay.
we
very
can
good.
work through anything and then present to you guys a final, kind of negotiated, if you will, contract.
Yep.
Okay. Terrific.
That reminded me that I was supposed to say hi to Emmett and Grady at my house. I forgot. Hi, guys. Grandma's watching them.
Good.
That was their tone.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you for coming.
down.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So the next thing is applications for transfer station supervisor applications. I would ask the board to move the table that until next week, until we know more about what we're gonna do contract-wise.
So moved.
Yep. Or we can do them both. Well, we can wait until next week anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Um,
because we're
the
gonna
only way we're gonna the only way we're gonna know where we're better off is to know all that information anyway. So however you want to handle it, it's fine with me.
well, if we look at them and then we're not gonna call anybody in until we know the other thing, why look at them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we're still
Save our
gonna
time.
have to
Oh, yeah.
weigh on
Oh, yeah.
that information. That's
Yes.
all.
Yep. So I got a motion table, I got a second to table it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. And we'll call it up when we get the answer to the other one. Okay, and then with that done, We got two legal, personnel. I would like to adjourn and go into an executive session to talk about legal, and then after that, there should be no decision. After that, we'll come out and go into the work session.
Very good.
Okay? The board move to do that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.